Thank you, Sahani sir. Uh, Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. This is the 1688th day of continuous webinar conducted by International Forum for Pragmatic Homeopathy. Today, our guest is Dr. PADMAPRIYA NAIR. Let us begin the session with 1 minute silent prayer. Thank you all. The International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy comprises of homeopathic lovers, students, and doctors. And we have 3 sessions every day. The first session of the day is already over in Hindi from 7:30 to 8:30. And from 8:30 to 9:30, we have the international session in English. And from 9:30 to 10:30, local language session in Malayalam. We are uploading the videos of the same on the very next day itself so that those who missed the session can watch it again. You can subscribe the same without paying any money. You can share it with your friends, whether it be a homeopathic lover or student or doctor. The purpose of the forum is to take homeopathy to every house around the world. And let me come to today's guest. As you all know, today our guest is Dr. PADMAPRIYA NAIR from UK, and she has completed BHMS and PG from London, PHCH from London, RS from London, and practicing at UK since 2010. And she is originally from India, from Mumbai. She was residing at Bombay with her parents, and after marriage, she shifted to UK, and where she is practicing homeopathy for the last 26 years, and she has 26 years of clinical experience, and made presentations in all forms of our session, that is in Hindi, English, as well as in Malayalam. That's the total, a complete person by all means. And all the presentations were exemplary, brilliant. And today, Doctor will be talking about a very essential, underrated remedy, because we know that there are constitutional remedy, polychrist remedy, and biochem remedy, all these kind, but there are certain rare remedies with us. So let us see what Dr. PADMAPRIYA has to say about this very essential as well as underrated remedy. You're welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Danesh, for the kind introduction. And thank you, everyone attending this session today. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants here. So am I audible and visible, Dr. Danesh?
Yes, everything fine.
Okay, so before I start, I would like to give a special thanks to our previous speaker. Unfortunately, I just joined the meeting a couple of minutes back. Although it was in Hindi, I'm sure the participants here might have attended. Some of the participants might have attended because the speaker there was talking about importance of behavior. And I could listen to Dr. Sahani towards the end, one of the greatest homeopaths from North India, talking a lot about the value of behavior and how it is important for both, for case taking and for our totality prescription. So I'm thankful to them because my talk today is kind of a continuation of that subject. Coincidentally, I picked up a topic which happened to be connected to the previous speaker. So I would like to start my talk by sharing my screen. Dr. Danesh, if you can just let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible now.
Okay, so oh, just a minute. I am not able to. Yes. So before I start, my salutations to my guru. We all learn homeopathy from all the masters. We have got so many masters who have written very valuable books. Our Dr. Handyman and all the masters, whoever has taught me, all my great salutations to all my guru. Today, whatever I'll be sharing is 99% of the content that I'll be sharing always is from the teachings, from the learnings of all the masters. It's just for 5 or 10% of the content might be my own experience, but rest everything is an accumulation of all that I've learned. Fortunately, I was in Mumbai, and we had absolutely brilliant homeopaths back in Mumbai, and I was very fortunate to attend some of them personally in their clinic and learn a lot from the seminars, the direct seminars and the workshops that were conducted by the many masters back in Mumbai. So tremendous salutations to all of them. And more important than anyone is my own father. He is my homeopathy guru. He practiced until his age of 79, and I've learned immensely from him. Especially today's session is nothing but his learnings. I learned this remedy from him, and he explained everything very beautifully. And before he passed away, it was post-COVID days. I mean, there was this casual discussion between a father and a daughter where he used to tell me about what remedies and what are the things that you should have in hand during the COVID days, post-COVID days. So I remember my father saying, you have to keep this remedy in hand, may not now, but at least 2 to 3 years later from the COVID days. That is 2020, we had your COVID. So maybe from 23 or 25 onwards, you might very regularly use this remedy. You might use this remedy as a polycrest, like an arsenic or a bryonia. So today I'm going to talk about that remedy, and I'm sure many homeopaths here might be using this remedy, or else if you have not used this remedy the way I am going to explain, I'm sure after this session you will have a wider perspective of this remedy, and I'm sure the slides which I'll be presenting will be good enough for you to understand this remedy so as to prescribe it in a better way. Another great pioneer who has personally taken efforts to teach me and bring me to this stage is my own Dr. Milind Rao. Again, he was from Mumbai. So I take privilege to explain the basic things which my masters have taught me and which is very essential in today's presentation. That is very importantly what we do when the patient is sitting in front of us is we focus on basic important things like the chief complaint, the past history, the family history, and the personal history. So this has usually been given to us by the patient. So whatever the patient is telling us, we get valuable data from the patient and we do prescribe on whatever prescriptive totality we get from the patient's details. So most of our cases, especially if it is acute case, we do get valuable information from the patient. If there are chronic cases, most of our chronic cases are also being benefited with whatever information we get from the patient. Okay, but there are a hell lot of cases where we cannot understand or the patient is not giving us valuable information. That is where we need to understand what is the patient's relative or the patient's attendant, whoever is accompanying the patient is going to tell us about. We need to take their information also into consideration. This is very clearly written in aphorism 83. So Dr. Samuel Hahnemann has clearly mentioned why in case taking that you have to take patient's information, you have to take relatives information. And one of the most important aspect, which again, Dr. Sahani just now mentioned, and which I'll be talking about in detail is one of the most important aspect that we have to consider is the third point in aphorism 83, which is important because it says that we have to, I'll just read out that so that it becomes more understandable. It says the importance of understanding the totality of the patient's condition, which includes more than just physical symptoms. He instructs us that during case taking, a physician must take note of the patient's mode of living, his habits, his age, sexual functions, family, relationship, and occupation. This is what Dr. Sani was previously explaining. It's very important for us to understand. Why this is important is when you take the patient's case, the patient may not have given you the prescriptive totality. The patient's relatives may not have given you valuable data which can help you to repertorize the case. But you might end up getting a beautiful list of symptoms or the rubrics which you need to prescribe on the information that comes up from the lifestyle. What is the patient doing? What is his occupation? What happens when he goes to work? What happens when he's coming back from work? What is he doing when he has got his free time? Or how is he spending his weekends? What are his emotional states are? What his living conditions are? Living conditions does not mean a big house or a small house. Of course, that does matter, but how much of financial liability has he got? Is he living in a healthy environment? How many people are there inside this family? And what are his concerns? That is where social environment and relationship. So how many friends are there? How connected he is with his friends? How connected he is with relationships? So what kind of stress from the job is he bringing back home? What is the kind of stress that he's having inside his office space? All these things are very important. You know, it also talks about the past traumas or hardships. So when we look into the life circumstances of the patient, we get very, very valuable data. And today I'm going to talk more on this because After this slide, I'll be talking about 3 cases in which the patient could not give valuable PQRS symptom. The patient's relative barely gave some PQRS symptom, but the case could be resolved only by the information that was taken from this paragraph, that is life circumstances. So you talk extensively. That is what we need to do in our clinic. We most of the time we end up rushing the patient, very quickly, because there's so many patients that we need to give very little time. But what is exactly needed is, when the patient is not giving you data, give valuable time to that patient so that he can speak out about his life circumstances. Also, talk to the relatives or the siblings or whoever is accompanying the patient to understand what is the life circumstances. So in these cases also, the patient was not very ready, or the patient did not give very valuable details. We could not understand what exactly is happening, but a great number of rubrics could be evaluated, taken out from the life circumstances of the patient. So what this are, so the it is written in the slide on the last paragraph that these are the very essential part of case history, not optional details. This is what I'm saying. We most of the time work on the prescriptive totality, that is the chief complaints. Okay, so we think life circumstances information may not be needed, we don't have to take it, it can be optional. But Hahnemann is clearly saying that essential part of case taking is the life circumstances, and it is not any option. You cannot run away from that details. Okay, so Dr. Hahnemann considered contextual and emotional factors to be just as crucial as physical symptoms. His method was incredibly historic for his time. So, but it is not incredibly historic, holistic for his time. It is very, very valuable today as well. Especially with post-COVID, we have a very, very wide range of complex emotional and behavioral things coming up in many patients. And we have more patients coming towards the holistic side, where they are understanding that I need to talk about my emotions to my patients. The behavioral and the emotional part of the patient also, the patient also are trying to understand that I need to share this with the homeopath. So we need to emphasize, we need to give time to our patients to only talk about the life circumstances. So today I'm going to talk about this remedy. It is very, very essential. I'm sure we all homeopaths have this remedy. We all use this remedy day in and day out. So it is not a new remedy. It's a very old remedy, but this might be a new perspective of understanding this remedy. Okay, so I'll start with my cases, and then I will go ahead with the slides, wherein I can again come back to the patient's history and explain you how those rubrics fit into that patient. So as I said, this remedy I learned from my father. So during those days, as I said, my father used to make me sit in his clinic even from a childhood days onwards. And I used to work like his assistant long before I completed my basic schooling and my basic graduation. So during those days, as an assistant, as a school going girl, I could not understand much about the patient, but I have known this man. This patient who used to come to my dad's clinic, he was kind of a family friend, at the same time a regular patient. Whatever happens to this patient, cold, cough, whatever silly problems, health issues, whatever discussions he wants to do, he will come down to my dad's clinic. So I have seen this man in and out. And every time I have seen this person, I have seen only 2-3 things he talking about this. And my dad used to prescribe him this basic, whatever acute prescriptions are needed. But then he came once with IBS, and he did not mention that he had IBS all these years. One fine day he's coming and saying, since so many years I had IBS. And my dad was like, you never told me that you had an IBS problem. So he said, yes, now this is going beyond my control. So I need you to treat me for IBS. And my dad gives this remedy. And then he comes back within 10-15 days and he is all sorted. So I was shocked. And then I asked him, what exactly is this? So that is when I learned this remedy. So what was the case, important aspect of the case? As I said, I'm going to talk only about the PQRS of the case. We have only 45 minutes here, so we cannot elaborate. So chief complaints, I'm not talking about past history, personal history. I'm talking about the life circumstances of the patient. So in this story, This patient was a bachelor, unmarried man who was living in Mumbai, in a part of Maharashtra, sorry, where his family belonged back to Kerala. It's another country, another county in the country, I should say, for all the international listeners. So in one county, this patient was staying, in another county, his family was staying, and his family consisted of his mother, all his siblings. He had around 7 to 8 siblings, and his father expired due to some reason suddenly when he was he was doing his education. He did not do his graduation. Before that, his father expired. But during those days, I'm talking about 1980s or 90s, 1990 or 2000, early 2000. No, I'm sorry. This is about 1990s. This man, his father was working in some military and he died. So this man got a job, the replacement job, wherein he had to step in to his dad's office as how should I say that? Just because dad expired, the son got the job. That used to happen back in India during those era. That is how this boy got into this job. And this man had to stop his education, migrate from his county to another county so that he gets his dad's job. And why is he doing that? Because he has taken up the responsibility of looking after his family. He has got younger siblings. When this man got into this job, these siblings were literally school going toddlers. 5 to 7 siblings, that means all age group siblings were there with him. And his obviously the mother during those era was illiterate. A mother could not manage anything. So this man migrates to another county. He works here. And all that I listened from this man is every time whenever this man came to our clinic, this man used to talk about money. He used to talk about his earnings. He used to talk about how much future financial funds he has got, or else he's talking about the issues inside his family. Oh, my sister is sick. My brother's education fees has to be paid. My mother is not fine. I have to call the doctor and ask the doctor to go for a home visit back in the village. Or else he will come back and say, oh, I've sent my money. Those days, those olden days, the money used to be sent by post office. Okay, so I remember those days, this man used to come back from post office and says, oh, I just went to the post office to send across money to my family. I just went out to call my mother. We never had phones in every houses those days. So this man will come and tell the small stories. You know, my mother shouted me for not doing the needful for my sister's husband. My sister's husband has got some financial issues, so my mother wants me to help my sister's husband, and my mother just shouted me on the call. So all the small stories this man is telling. And these are the only things that I've heard from that man, only talking about his family members, the concerns and health issues or the financial issues of every single member of his family, or else this man is talking about his own money. But on that day when he came for this IBS treatment, he appeared very worried about what will happen to me. And he was telling this, what will happen to me if this disease is not gone forever? I will have to quit this job. I will lose this job. And if I lose this job, what will happen to the financial situation of my family? Who is going to take care of the health issues of my mother? Who is going to help my family, especially my brothers, to complete their education? My sister should get married. How is the show going to run if I am having some health problem? So this was the life situation of this person, which was considered and based on which the prescription was given. Okay, I'm not going to elaborate more on this because we are running out of time. I'm going to the next case. So the next case is a case that I've got here that is barely 2 years back. This is my case, I should say, not my father's case. So in this case, what happens is this is a 55-year-old man. He comes with lots of health issues. Mainly, it was cholesterol and gout. And he did not believe in homeopathic science, but he tried his best with all possible ways to help himself. But then finally, it was like, okay, maybe homeopathy will help me. So what I understand, again, the same scenario, the man was not very easy. He did not answer my basic questions. He did not want to talk in detail to me. So I found maybe is too shy as a man or a female consultant and a male patient. He did not want to open up to me. But then I had to stop asking him basic questions, and then I jumped onto the other side and asked him, okay, tell me about your life. What's happening in your family? How many family members? Where are you based? He lives here in UK, London, but his family is back in India. So then I had to shift my questions towards that side, asking how many family members are there? How often do you visit your family home in India? And then this patient comes up with a story saying that just 2 years back, due to health issues, he believes it could be due to some vaccination of the COVID or something. Due to some health issues, his dad came down with paralysis, and it's a kind of a quadriplegia. His father is not able to work. His father is not able to earn. And apparently his family is a very reputed family back in India, and they have a they had a very lavish lifestyle. So now this man is saying that since my dad is in a paralyzed state, now I have to manage the entire family. I have to take care to ensure that he's also got a handicapped sister who is unmarried. So this is a 55-year-old man. Again, that sister could be around 40, 45. But what he meant to say is that unmarried handicapped sister is now my responsibility. I have to ensure her treatment, her medication, her physiotherapist coming to her, doing all the needful treatment for her. I have to ensure that there are cab services, taxi services to help my mother take my sister to the hospital for all her medical needs. I have to ensure that my mother is being helped with servants and drivers in the house. I have to ensure that my father has got all the possible medical care needed. I have to also fund servants and drivers for my family, especially for my father, a caretaker, full-time caretaker, 2 or 3 caretakers. So now this is my stress. Previously, all these years I lived here in UK, only taking care of me and my family. But now, since 2 years, I am doing it. So then I go further and ask him, so why are you taking so much of pressure? So he explains me he's got 3 other siblings in United States and Gulf country, but they are doing from their end whatever is possible. So then I asked him, then why are you worried when you have 3 more brothers who's going and doing the needful in the family home in India? Why do you take so much of stress? So he's like, they are doing as much as they can, but I know I can do much more than them. And I also know that I have to do it. My family had a reputation in the town back in India, and due to no reasons that should be shattered. I really want my father and my mother to live as lavishly as they've always lived. So if my brothers are funding the family, that is not sufficient. That is only going to manage the show on a very basic requirement level. But my family should live in a lavish level. Okay, apparently this man's wife happens to be my patient, and this man's wife complains to me that she comes as a different patient. So when I'm taking her case, she complains to me that this man is back nowadays back home when he's after work, he's all the time talking about his family members, his mother, his father, the doctor's visit, the driver has not come, I have to arrange another driver. So all the time he is concerned about the things happening back in his family home. Okay, so this wife is telling me that I am just irritated with my husband. I understand that he has to do the needful for his family. His brothers are doing as much as they can. It is not that the family back in India has been abandoned. They are getting enough funds from all the siblings. But why is this man ruining his peace of life? Why is he? And then what is happening is he is also kind of adjusting the funds that he has got. Like this wife is complaining that if I ask that our car is old, we need a replacement, this man is not ready to get a new car, but he can get new AC, the air conditioning system for his dad's bedroom. He can afford money to spend there in his hometown. But if there is a basic requirement like additional max tutoring for our son here, my husband says, why can't you help him with the mathematics exams? Why do we need to tutor him? Whereas he is ready to spend for his family. So this is a kind of argument that happens between the husband and wife. And obviously this man gets affected because of this. So what is the life situation? Life circumstances is again the same kind of a story wherein he has taken up the whole responsibility of all his family members and is running in and out only to take care of the responsibility. Okay. Going ahead with my third case, and this is again a new case for me. This is a female, 26-year-old unmarried female. So she was working. She comes to me with menstrual irregularity. She was working and she was also studying, and she was living with his mother. And she had lost her dad long before. During her childhood days, her dad left her. It was just 2 sisters, and eventually the mother could manage everything. And the elder sister got married. The elder sister had two children. The elder sister was married into a very nice family, very good, big joint family structure. And things were going very happily in her life, in this patient's life. But one fine day, this girl lost that elder sister. And then eventually, when I say eventually, over a period of months, she realizes that my daughter's 2 kids does not have a mother. So and that those children are living with the husband's family. Okay. And that is a family. It's a big joint structure. So those children have got their father, the father's family is back there. So this patient believes that those children do not have a mother. So I should step in and I should behave like a mother. I should be there in my sister's family home when my children, children are having any health issues. I should be there to ensure they get into the correct schools. They were toddlers, so school admission and pick up and drop for the elder child, health related issues for the younger one. For every little small things that the children need, this lady started moving around. She took out time from her own work, from her own studies, from her own personal space, the time whatever she had. She started devoting too much of time to her sister's family only to ensure that those children have a mother. So she started playing a role of a mother to that family's children, and those family were not very happy because that family was very nice and the family was doing the needful for those children. So that family was there to mother the child, but this girl had this anxiety that no, I should be there to do everything for that family. And she had a very strange fear that what if my brother-in-law remarries? And if my brother-in-law remarries, my kids, this small kids of my sister will get a stepmother. And if that stepmother turns out to be bad, then this children's life is gone. Why should I do that when I am capable enough to do the role of a mother for those children? So this was the life situation of all the three cases that I've explained. I'll go ahead and explain the rubrics, and I'll come back to the case to elaborate more on the cases. Okay, so all the three cases were prescribed this remedy, and this remedy is Calcarea silicata. So before I explain and go ahead with the rubrics of the case, I'll explain in short just the two importance of Calcarea silicata in our real life, not homeopathically, but in real life, Calcarea silicata is used in table salt. When I say salt, ideally we get salt in the form of rock. Okay, so hard particles of salt is made free flowing and smooth by the use of Calcarea silicata. So Calcarea silicata ensures that the salt is free flowing. There are no hard rocky particles inside the salt. That is what Calcarea silicata does to salt. And another very important role is it's used in cement. Cement is nothing but for constructing homes, constructing sand and cement is mixed together. So it is a great binding agent. This is the very too simple and very essential role of Calcarea silicata in our, of course, Calcarea silicata has got lots of important roles to play in the industrial side as well. We are not going there. I'm just talking about these two roles because that is how homeopathically it is important for our understanding. So William Borick very clearly says a deep, long-acting medicine for complaints which come on slowly and reach their final development after long periods. As I said, that's what this is where my father might have calculated and said implications is happening now. 2020, 2021 is the COVID days, but it's a deep acting remedy and the implications will come on slowly. So today, if the patient is affected because of the ailments from, the patient will come down with the pathology and come to our clinic for medications after a very long time. So that is the deep, long-acting pace of this remedy. And this is important because when you take the case and if you ask, as said in aphorism 83, if you ask about the hardship and the past trauma, you will get stories like, long back, my father died. I took up the responsibility. My sister died. Everything is happening beautifully in my sister's family. Although if my sister is not there, those children are having a lavish life. But I felt I should do so and so. And I've been doing so and so things for my children, sister's children. And now I've come up with this menstrual irregularities and other health problems. So the ailments from begins, and by the time you see the pathology, it's a very long period. So that is a deep, long-acting medicines. Of course, I'm not going to talk about the physicals or any more details because we have so many resource books and so many details all across, especially online. We can always go there and read. In this presentation, I'll be talking more about my clinical experiences and what rubrics or what side of this remedy has helped me in these three cases. Okay, so what happens with Calcarea silicata is Yeah, so they come up with this ailments from death of loved ones, parents or friends, anxiety about family, responsibility, taking responsibility too seriously, love for family and duty, the sense, too much sense of duty. So when you take the case, you can clearly understand that what is a past trauma or hardship. If you put up that question, the patients will clearly say that everything was going on fine, but I lost my family member. I lost my best friend. I lost my sister. So this is the ailments. So from there, everything, the story begins. Okay, so how is that death of your family member, your friend affecting you? I have got too much of love for my family. So the whole responsibility of my family is mine. Okay, so this can be for friends. If you have a very close, intimate friend, and after the loss of the friend, if we take up the responsibility of the friend's family members on my shoulder, then I can become a Calcarea silicata. So why? Because there is too much of love for the family. There is anxiety about the family. What will happen to my sister? My father is not there. How will she get married? How will she ensure that her education has been done in a proper way? How will the funding for my brother's education happen because my father is not there? So all the time, this man is anxious about the family. Too much of anxiety for his own family. Too much of love for his own family. See, but when I talk like this, you all, whoever is listening, we all can feel that, okay, we have so many patients, we have calcareas, we have lycopodiums, we have silica, phosphorus, we have carcinosins, cocculus, vanilla. There are so many remedies who fall into this category. It's a very, very common state, love for family, duty for family. But today, if I am explaining Calcarea silicata, you will clearly understand how Calcarea silicata is different from Calcarea carbs or arsenics or ignatia or cocculus. So what happens with this Calcarea silicata is they are also like other remedies. They feel affected. They are affected by the death of the family member. They affect, and then they have too much of anxiety for the family members, and they feel it's my responsibility to step in. As my case here, I have 3 other siblings to do the needful for my family, but no. I have to take up this responsibility seriously. I have to ensure my brothers are also funding my family right now, but I have to ensure that they live an extravagant lifestyle as they always lived. Okay, so this is where ailments. And what is ailments? Ailments is nothing but everything is going on good, everything is healthy, but this thoughts, and this is where the previous lecture, that is why I was talking, Dr. Sahani was talking so correctly. These are the thoughts that runs in your mind. These are the emotions that runs in your mind, and this causes starts the pathological changes to develop. So what's the first thing happening? As we all say, anxiety is the mother of all disease. So after the man is affected with these emotions of duty and love for family and sense of responsibility, this man comes down with anxiety. Now, again, if you look into the repertorial sheet, you can see this is a very common behavior. We have so many polychromes, phosphorus, arsenic, cocculus, calcarea silicata is one of those from that big list. So this person has got lots of anxiety about relatives, anxiety about future, and then he's got very anxious about his own health. As I said, my father's the best friend. The most important way he came up with IBS is help me with this, because if something goes wrong with me, who will take up this responsibility to take care of my family? So that is anxiety about his own family members and his own health. If something goes wrong, something will not work good for my family. So as I said, anxiety is the mother of all emotions. Obviously, then all the emotions will start pouring up. So the one of the most important emotion that triggers Calcarea silicata, which runs all the time inside, fears of family matter, fears of poverty, fear of failure, fear of disease. What is the disease that I have got? Is this going to be incurable disease for me? How am I going to manage this disease? And if I'm managing this disease, I have no money. I will not be able to go to work. I'll be thrown out of my office. And if that is happening, what will happen to my family members? So that is a immense fear of poverty and fear of family matters. As I said, I've got other cases also wherein one of the friend's wife expired, and this lady patient again steps in saying that that is my friend's wife who's lost the life, and there's a hell lot of problems happening inside that family because of the loss of that lady. So let me step in. So as I said, when we use this word family not necessarily mean the blood relationship. It can be the distant family relationships of your patient, or it can be the close friends, intimate friends of our patients, whom the patient believes is my family. So this kind of fear aggravates all the pathology developing process inside the mind of the patient. Okay. And now what is fear of being judged? See, now again, I'm not going in depth because we don't have some time. When we talk about Calcarea silicata, you will see many symptoms and many presentation of Calcarea. You will also see silica in this. So that is combination of Calcarea and silicata. So Calcareas have got fear of judgment. They believe that my family lives a rich life, a reputed life. We have an image in the society. I need to work in such a way that the reputation of my family is managed. Yeah, or else I've got a reputation in the office. So I need to work in a particular form. I need to wear my clothes in a particular format so that that image is maintained. So I don't want to be judged. So that fear of being judged is there in the Calcarea group of remedies, and we can see that very prominently in this Calcarea silicata as well. Again, the protected feeling, we understand, we all know about this shell. Calcarea is from the shell. So we have this protected, secured feeling. So they want that kind of secured feeling all the time inside. So I should be secured with money, enough money. I should give the protection to my family. I should give the protection to that friend of mine who's lost the spouse. I should do the needful and protect my niece because the mother is not there. I am the mother's sister. So I should give that protection. Okay, so although there might be protection for the children there, this lady patient of mine felt that there is protection, everything is good there, but I fear that they will not be protected. So let me give that protection. So this fear, losing protection or feeling want of protected feeling is very clearly seen in Calcarea silicata. So this patient will talk about it. As I said, my first case where my father's best friend, kind of an uncle for me during those days. So that uncle used to always come and talk about this kind of fear, like what will happen? Will my family be protected? And he was scared, if the mother is sick, he will make 10 phone calls throughout the day to ensure, are the younger siblings back from school? Is the younger boy studying properly? Is the food being made ready for the mother, and who's taking care of the mother? So want to protect the family all the time. They want to protect themselves, they want to protect their family. So this kind of communication, when you take the case, you will see patient talking on this line. So this is protected feeling, want of protective and desires to protect. So what is the main concern? As I said, in this first case, this patient, I told that I don't remember that patient giving a case. The patient used to always talk about money. So this Calcarea silicata talks a lot about money. Today, we don't have time. In future, if I get, I'll also explain Calcarea iodatum. So even in Calcarea iodatum, we have a similar presentation. When they take up lots of responsibilities, they will run around and do the needful for the family. I'm talking about Calcarea iodatum, but Calcarea iodatum is not worried about money. You will not hear any money-related statements from Calcarea iodatum, but silicata has got lots of anxiety. So if the patient is sitting and if you're asking basic questions, the patient will remember. Like we all have these basic questions, what is the stress in your life? What are you worried about? So the patient will immediately say, oh, is finance a stress? Yes, I have some financial problem and that worries me. So Calcarea silicata has got anxiety, money matters, and this patient will definitely, most of the Calcarea silicatas definitely talk about money matters inside the consultation space. So what happens? Everything is going good. I am supplying the money to my family. I am doing the needful for my family. So why should I fall sick? So these are the rubrics. What happens with the Calcarea silicata is they are very sensitive. As I said, this first patient of mine saying that my mother shouted me. My sister's husband has got financial problem and I did not send money to my sister's husband. So my mother shouted me that why are you not supporting your sister's husband during his financial crisis? It is not shouting. It might be just the mother saying that son, you are the responsible member of the family. You have to ensure that your sisters and brothers are safely and protected all the time. So you have to ensure that your brother-in-law should be funded when he is having finance. It must be a simple statement. So that is why this rubric we have is sensitive to reprimands, sensitive to reproaches. Okay. Similarly, in my case here, I said the wife says, oh, you do not have money to do max tutoring for our son, but you are ready to pay for your driver back in India home. You are not ready to get a new car for our family home, but you are ready to refurbish your home back in Kerala where your sister is handicapped and sleeping in that room. So this kind of criticism from the family, opinion from others. So this is where Calcarea silicata loses that ability to carry on. This is where Calcarea silicata actually falls sick because they are very, very sensitive and they are doing so much for the family. So this patient of mine, he told me, Am I going out, having party with my friends? Am I spending money on to traveling here and there? No. All the time. Am I watching televisions and movies and entertaining myself? No. All the time I'm working and I'm earning money. And what am I doing with the money that I earn? I take care of every member of my family. In spite of doing this, my wife has to make fun of me. My wife has to criticize me. There is mocking in going around me. My mother calls me and reprimands me. Okay. In my lady patient who has got this menstrual irregularities, her own mother, the widow mother, used to shout this girl saying that you stop running to your sister's family every now and then. If that child there is having teething problem, that family will manage that child's teething problem. Just because you are the sister of their dead mother, you do not have to run. This mother used to shout this daughter. So she used to feel bad. Why is my mummy shouting like this? I'm not wasting my time. I'm going around to take care of my own sister's children. So that is the sensitivity of Calcarea silicata. Okay, again, we do not have time today. When we do the differential diagnosis with other remedies, we can see that this kind of sensitivity, as we can see here in this chart itself, we have remedies like Staphysagrea or Natramur and Calcarea carb who are also sensitive to reprimands, but if you look into iodatum, Calcarea iodatum, they are not. They are not this sensitive. Okay. So the greatest problem for Calcarea silicata is they have lost their ambition. This first patient, my dad's friend, he left his home county from Kerala to Mumbai. He came just for this job because his father died and he had to take up his dad's job. And he could not complete his commerce. He was doing his BCom, that is bachelor's in commerce. He wanted to do law. He could not complete his graduation. He could not complete. That was just the dad's job that he got. He took it. He did not complete his graduation or his post-graduation. So he carries that pain inside him that I did not complete my desire to be ambitious and follow my success pathway just because I took up this job and just because I'm spending every penny, every hour for my family. This girl who came with menstrual irregularities had the same story. She was working and she was studying. She was compromising with her working schedule. She was not able to complete her course. She was doing some online course. Why? Because she's putting that much time to those little children. So there is a loss of ambition in this. Okay, so Calcarea silicata will take up the responsibility for the entire family or the extended family or the friends at the cost of their own ambition. They have something, they keep that something away. They do not do those important things that they want to do in their life, and they spend their energy, their time for the family or the family members. And why did they do that? Because of that immense love for the family and that immense sense of responsibility for the family. And was that sense not there before? Yes, these patients always have that sense of responsibility towards the family, but there was a father in the house. There was maybe a responsible elder brother in the house. So they did not have to step in and say that, yes, I'm doing it. But today, after the death, that is ailments from death of the loved ones, they had to step in and say, okay, fine. This is my family. This is my responsibility. I'll keep aside my ambition. That is ambition loss of. And again, this is a rubric in our repertory. Why? Because the patients will talk about this in the consultation space. If you give them that ambience, sit down calmly and talk to them about their life circumstances, they will. If it's a female patient, yes, my female patients have done. The male patients do not do that, because Calcarea silicata is another rubric, answering aversion to answer. They just don't like to answer questions, So if the Calcarea silicata comes with good pathological state, they will not answer our questions. It's very difficult. So that is why when we have to go from the other side and ask circumstances questions, life circumstances questions. And as I said, in my case, I've seen female patients, when I ask for life circumstances questions, they might break down and say, I have done so much at the cost of my ambition, but still, in spite of doing so much, there is a criticism, there is reproaches, there is reprimands that is happening towards me, and I feel sensitive towards that. Okay. So ailments from mental exertion. Now, what is mental exertion? This man of mine who came here, uh, even if coming back from work, he has to ensure that he makes a call back to India and to ensure that, okay, did you take mom to the hospital? Is the sister got her new supplements today? I had ordered her medications online. Did she get those supplements? Okay. Is the caregiver, that caretaker for my father was not good, so I had replaced a new caretaker. Is he all right? Is he doing good? Every day after this man comes from work, he has to ensure with his family back in India that are things going good in his family there. Of course, that does not mean that he's not paying attention to his family here. He is doing the needful for his family here. He's also taking, so there's a lot of mental activities going on, mental exertion, calculating the funds, the checking on, oh, my sister's son is going to USA for higher educations. Did he pass those exams? Did he get his flight tickets? Oh, have you landed, my dear niece, nephew? Have you done the checking? Have you done the boarding? Small things like this. They will step in and do it as if he is the father of that child, or else he is the only person of that child. So that kind of extra efforts mentally he's taking. So after the office work, instead of sitting back and relaxing with his own family, he's got lots of mental exertion going on. So they come down with ailments. Money loss of, yes, as I said, money is a great, because the whole story of Calcarea silicata is I am doing the responsible needful job for my family members with the help of money. I'm supplying money. Now, this is a great distinguishing characteristic which we see with Calcarea iodatum. Iodatum has nothing to do with money. They will physically go and work. That is the iodum quality of Calcarea iodatum. Iodum is physical activity. Activity desires physical activity, lots of physical exertion. Recently, I had a lady patient of Calcarea iritum literally running around and doing the needful for the friend's child. So that is not seen here in Calcarea silicata. We are talking about Calcarea silicata. I'm sorry, I don't want to confuse. Calcarea silicata is more about physical exertion, and they will have money as a great issue. And if at all there is a money loss, that is going to create lots of pathological problems inside Calcarea silicata. And reproaches, I have explained ailments from reproaches. Answering aversion to answer, refusing to answer. As I said, patients will not talk. If you put up basic questions also, how are you, what's your pain, what is your aggravating factor, what is your sleeping patterns, they just don't want to talk, Then that is where we might confuse, like, is this a stubborn nux vomica, or is this a short-tempered chamomilla patient, or why is he behaving like this? Is this bryonia? We might end up, I have done such things, we might end up giving bryonia or arsenic or chamomilla to a Calcarea silicata patient, because Calcarea silicata patient will not talk enough on the chief complaints, refusing to answer, aversion to answer, anger easily, discontent with everything, and frightened easily, insecurity, mental irritability from trifle. So this comes up when the pathology is bad. Okay, so initial days of the pathology, you may not see this kind of symptoms, but the patient's relative obviously will come to us and say, this is a major health problem with my husband. And along with this health problem, he's lost his temper. Previously, he was very calm-headed man. Even if he's thinking about his family and he's helping his family members, he would not break his temper with all of us here. He's always calm and peaceful. But look at him now. He's very irritable at anything. He shouts at our children for no reasons. He's scared for silly reasons. And this was not how my husband was. Previously, my husband was not like this now. So this is the great shift we see. That is why I've written deviation of the healthy state. This is not healthy. This is the rubrics that we see during the later stage, and relatives will definitely talk about this rubrics. So we have to also understand what are the basic good qualities. Why Calcarea silicata is Calcarea silicata is because Calcarea silicata is a very honest as an individual, very loyal, very honest, very serious, industrious. Industrious means they're very hardworking. They know if I work 9 to 5, I will be able to feed my family. But if I want to feed my friend's family, their best friend is dead, and I want to take care of my friend's family, I have to work extra 3 hours every day. I will put in more efforts. I will work on Saturday, Sundays to give my extravagant lifestyle to my dad. He is paralyzed there. So that is the industrious quality. They are very loyal. They're very sympathetic. You had this story wherein this girl just calls up and says, Uncle, I want a new iPhone. It's post-COVID days. Everything is online. I don't have a phone to do my online education. So this uncle is saying, okay, fine, I'll give you this phone. So this girl from the other end, one of the distant relatives' daughter saying, Dad, if my dad was there, my dad would have got this phone for me, but I want an iPhone. Why can't you give me an iPhone? And this man is saying, no, I can't give you an iPhone. I'll give you another phone. No, if my dad was present, he would have given. Just that one statement, and this man agrees. So what is this? That is a sympathetic nature. So the relatives knows this man is very sympathetic, very loyal. So if we put a need in front of this relative of ours, because of his sympathetic nature and yielding disposition, yielding nature, he's yielding and he's sympathetic. So that is why if we tell him, can you send a few extra pounds to me this year? This man will definitely send some money extra for me this year, because these are the basic qualities that Calcarea silicata carries with him. Okay, so these are the very important aspects of Calcarea silicata. And in a nutshell, if we want to talk about Calcarea silicata, if we want a basic understanding, what we need to remember is cement the relationship, which means, as I said, it is used in cement because it's a very good binding agent. Calcarea silicata will take all the efforts to ensure that relationship is not shattered. Okay, I still want to maintain the friendship with that family. Even if that one person of that family is dead, I will step in and I'll play the role. I don't want my parental house to be in a very shattered state just because the father is dead. I will step in. I want all the relationship to be together. You know, if father is a man of the house who keeps everyone under one roof, he is working day and night to ensure that all the needs and necessities of everyone inside the family is met. So today I will do that. I will cement the family members together. I will cement this relationship. So even if this niece is calling up and saying, Ki, I'm going to cry, you're not providing me with a phone, Calcarea silicata man, because of his ability that, oh, I don't want that child to go away from me. Irrespective of what happens, the child should remember that this uncle is always there for her. I want to maintain that relationship I have with that girl, because tomorrow, if she needs something in her adult life, she should remember that if father is not there, father's cousin brother is there for me. So that is the cementing of relationship that Calcarea silicata will do. And that is where we can see such people all around us. You know, if you actually see, that is where, and why I say all around us, and why my father said post-COVID is because in COVID, there was sudden loss of people. Previously, it was disease causing death, I should say, before COVID, or accidents causing death. So in a way, the family is prepared. You know, oh, my father is unwell. I might lose him sometime. My mother's got health problems. She might go away. So we as human beings are prepared, but we were not prepared for COVID loss. COVID loss just came suddenly. And then because of sudden loss, there are many, almost every other household has got a death story. You know, there is a story of COVID death in the family. So this Calcarea silicatas are born because of that. Why? Because, as I said, it's a polycrest feeling to have love for the family, responsibility and duty towards the family. But a death making you step into the role of a responsible person inside the family has happened after this COVID days. And we can see that more and more people have become burdened. Why? Because they are doing additional role of funding, supporting, cementing that extra family, or that extra, I should say, extended family. I have seen stories, patients where it's not their first family. When we talk about first family, the blood relatives, but you talk about, let me say, my brothers, wives, sisters family is nowhere related to me. But if I am doing something for my brother's wife, sister's family, that is an extended family. So we have more people stepping into this responsible role and talking about money and bringing in more money, funding themselves. You know, they are working hard day and night and earning more money only to fund that extra family member. So that is Calcarea silicata. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, so I think I will end it here. So is that okay? Dr. Danesh, do we have time?
Yes, only 7 minutes remaining, so we can have a discussion, I think.
Yeah,
Because
so I'll just quickly go through one more slide just to that is, I mean, I'm done with it. This is 7 minutes. I'll just take 2 minutes for this. So this is one of the last stage. Last stage means I've seen one case where absolutely grave pathology, and that is like when we talk about the terminal stage of pathology. So the patients, you know, this patients may not behave like, you know, oh, I'm taking responsibilities of this family. When this patient is absolutely in a bad pathology disease state, they are very anxious about their own health. They are very dependent on others. This person who was supplying needful things or the money to others, this person becomes dependent on others. You know, can you help me? Can you do the needful for me? Will call up people and tell, you know, I have got this. I'm talking about a CA prostate cancer, which was almost deteriorated and the worst state of Calcarea silicata. So this man used to call up and ask for help, ask for money, ask for physical help. You know, can you help and be there for my family when I'm going for chemotherapy? So that is a dependent on others, which Calcarea silicata will come to, discontent with anything. So this man was again very happy and cheerful, but during that last stage, they have become very salty food, angry. Okay, dad, do you want sweet? No, I don't want this. Oh, what do you want? Blanket on your body? No, I don't want another clothing on myself. Do you want the fans to be on? No, I don't. So every silly thing they're angry, every silly thing they are irritated, they are just not happy. So there is discontented with everything is a one of the last presenting stay rubric for Calcarea silicata, and they fear themselves. They have lots of fear of their disease. They have lots of fear about what will happen. This man was in the last stage of CA prostate. What's going to happen with my family? How will my daughter get married? Only single daughter. Who will arrange everything for my daughter's life? So lots of fear for family members, and I'm not going to recover. I'm not going to recover. So that doubtful recovery about fear of family members, too much of held desire to be, so what is this held desire to be? Just calling up immediate relatives and saying, will you be there if something goes wrong with me, and will you come down for my funeral? Will you take care of my daughter's wedding? Calling up some other relative and saying, can you find a proper alliance for my daughter? So this is like holding people around, that is held desire. At the same time, you hold me also. Let me hold you tightly and you also hold me. That is that immense fear of death, immense fear, and that insecurity that I am going, I am vanishing, I am on the terminal stage. What's going to happen to me, my family members? Helplessness feeling. Obviously, I am in a very bad state. So now I'm helpless. I can't do anything for any of my family members. I was doing everything for them. So again, this is another case which I had, CA prostate. This patient, as I said, we could not talk much about this patient directly from him, but understanding the life story, how he was previously, we could understand that he was always been a Calcarea silicata, and now he's come to this state, and lamenting, will keep on lamenting about his problems, will keep on lamenting about his family members and their issues, So this is Calcarea silicata in the very, very last stage. Okay. So I think that is just to understand the whole dimensions of one remedy. So I think with that, I will end. So thank you very much. I hope this explanation was fair enough for everyone to understand a different aspect, little more understanding of this remedy. With that, thank you very much. I hope you all read more about Calcarea silicata from all the resources that you have. And I always have got questions asking, where is this? Whatever rubrics I present, from where do you get? So we have many, as I said, I was fortunate enough to learn from many homeopaths. I have read many books. So whatever I present is a totality of everything that I have learned till today. But if you see online, we have many resources. But what my father always said is, if you want to understand a remedy in and out, always go to Materia Medica Pura. Those days, my dad used to have this book and he used to make me read. And today we have repertory, we have online software where you have repertory. And if you go into the repertory and if you go into the, if you just put the name of that remedy and you can see all the rubrics. So if you see all the rubrics, that rubrics talks about it. If you have 10 rubrics of anxiety, it will tell you how Calcarea silicata will behave in anxiety, what are the fears of Calcarea silicata. So one best way of learning a remedy is reading the rubrics of the repertory. Thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. PADMAPRIYA, it's really an excellent session indeed. And you really showed how important to study homeopathic rare remedies because people used to give polycus remedies after taking the case even without repertorization. But you show how important repertorization is. Then only then we get this kind of rare remedies, and one need to understand how in depth in such cases. Then when you get a remedy like Calcarea silicata for such a case, then you will have to study the Calcarea silicata itself and to make sure that the medicine is exactly similar to the patient. And that's the reason why in all these cases, the patient was saved with the homeopathic medicine Calcarea silicata. And thank you. And Dr. Ampar, sir, you can speak now. Please unmute. Somebody, Dr. Hibbert? Please, you are the host now.
Thank
Please.
you, Dr. Dhanesh ji, and everyone. Namaskar. Congratulations, Dr. PADMAPRIYA Nair. Very good.
Thank you.
Describe the case or
Thank you.
select the remedy, Calcarea silicata. Here, Fear is the very important, according to law of homeopathic science. 50% diseases, main cause of fear. 50%. Another, greedy, anger, and insulting. In 50%, मर गया सो डर गया. तो इसलिए भावना फियर नहीं पालना चाहिए.
Yes, sir.
वेरी वेरी थैंक्स डॉक्टर पद्माप्रिया. थैंक यू.
If anybody want to communicate with Dr. PADMAPRIYA, you can raise your hand. Dr. Hubert.
Yes. No. Just I.
Yes. You can say something about.
Dr. PADMAPRIYA, doctor, you are always doing wonderful, and every time you have your own way of explaining the things. Moreover, the mental symptoms, and you are reaching every nook and corner of the mind and explaining it in a very
Thank you.
deep and vast area, and making the medicinal relationship with your experiences with your father and with others. That is great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Always you are
Thank you very
coming.
much.
You are always happy with while you are delivering the speech. You are making a wonderful, with grace, full of grace. Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
All because of the teachers who have taught me. All the credit goes to all the teachers who have
Thank you.
taught me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hubert, and Dr. PADMAPRIYA, and those who attend the session in this evening. Tomorrow we will have a session from Dr. Pankaj. He is another important person. He is a professor in community medicine, working in Gujarat, and we'll be talking about an observational retrospective study of psychosomatic disease and its ailments factor, emotional suppression with its homeopathic management. So hope all of you really enjoy the day with a beautiful session from Dr. PADMAPRIYA. Thank you all.
Thank you. Very nice. Padmapriya is a dynamic personality.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's over to Dr. Hubert to begin the Malayalam session.
Thank you, doctor.